Hey guys, Isabel here. Welcome back to Reeled In. So episode 4 for What If came out, and it's basically what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands. Which, like, just with the title like that, obviously you know some stuff is about to go down. But in this video, I'm going to break down the episode, tell you guys what I saw, what I thought, and give a little bit of an analysis on it. So right away, the Watcher's opening quote.
We have watched how one moment, one choice, can ripple across space and time, giving birth to new stories. But what if it's the wrong choice?
We have all seen alternate realities where heroes stay the heroes, but they just kind of switch around and become other heroes. But we can assume by the Watcher's quote that we will be seeing a hero sort of fall from grace and become a little bit of a villain, or at least an antagonist. And here we see Dr. Stephen Strange's sports car. We also see this in the original Doctor Strange movie, the one that eventually gets totaled because he crashes. A major difference though is that in this reality, Christine joins Doctor Strange to his award ceremony, whereas in the actual movie, Doctor Strange goes by himself, which leads him to the car accident where he loses the use of his hands. In this timeline though, he and Christine are both in the accident, and Christine unfortunately dies, but Doctor Strange escapes relatively unscathed. Like, not even a scratch. Like, literally doesn't even have a scratch, it's only a bruise. No skin was broken as he tumbled down a cliff. Another major difference, though, is that in the Doctor Strange movie, the oncoming car is the one that causes Stephen to crash, but in this one, he actually avoids the crash in time, but a car from behind hits him, and that's where the accident happens. I like how in this scene, Christine says, "Get straight to the heart."
Stop! I'm already asleep. Come on, cut the preamble. Let's just get straight to the heart of it.
And it's basically like the theme of the whole episode. And since Doctor Strange didn't lose the use of his hands, he's actually able to perform the magic quite more easily and quicker than he was in the original movie, where he struggled for like 3/4 of it. And here we have the apple being eaten and uneaten as Doctor Strange experiments with time. Also a direct scene taken from the actual Sacred Timeline movie. For those of you who have not been watching these videos of mine, if you're new, welcome, but I refer to the original movies as Sacred Timeline movies. And then we see Doctor Strange have to live through Christine dying multiple times.
The death of one Dr. Christine Palmer.
Which is intense, I'd say. And if you guys watch my reaction videos, you'll know that during this whole arc in the storyline, before it was even confirmed, I mentioned fixed points in timelines, or as the MCU calls it, absolute points in time. Basically, no matter what Doctor Strange did, Christine always had to die, since at least in this timeline, her dying is what pushed Doctor Strange forward to become the Sorcerer Supreme.
Her death is an absolute point in time. Without her death, you would never have defeated Dormammu.
But it's also no secret that most timeline and time travel stories have these things called fixed points, where no matter what you do or change, something will always happen no matter what. And as we do see, no matter what Doctor Strange did, he just couldn't find a scenario where Christine lived. Thus begins his road to becoming a villain / misguided person / antagonist / whatever you really want to call him. Honestly though, villains who make like the wrong choice for like you kind of the right reasons, like those are my favorites. Then there's a confrontation between the, at this point in time, current Sorcerer Supreme and Doctor Strange. What we don't know yet is that the Sorcerer Supreme actually split Doctor Strange in two. There are basically two Doctor Stranges in the one timeline, which is dangerous and unheard of and very sneaky of the Sorcerer Supreme, which I'm kind of here for. But we actually get a little hint of this now split Stephen by this Stephen's tone in his overall character.
Library, hello, books, reading, knowledge.
Throughout the whole of the first Sacred Timeline Doctor Strange movie, Doctor Strange does start off as very arrogant, but slowly he becomes just a little less so by the end of the movie, hence his character development. He is essentially at this point in this current timeline, but here we see he's very arrogant and sarcastic, showing that this split side of him probably took on those characteristics of himself, whereas the other Stephen is probably more level-headed and a bit more humble. And of course, we have the running gag behind Stephen Strange's name.
Sorcerer Armani?
No, it's strange.
Not any stranger than any other name in this world.
This is done in the original Sacred Timeline movie and is also replicated here. Also, this man read absorption through other beings and was immediately okay with it.
Gain the power through the absorption of other beings.
And here we see what looks like the Leviathan that appears in episode 1 with Captain Carter. Is this the hint that we may see her in the future? I certainly hope so, because I enjoyed her very much. Now we see a visual time jump because Doctor Strange has grown facial hair. Not sure whether or not this is because his healing process took longer than it appeared he was injured, or maybe he was just tossing the idea of absorbing other beings back and forth. And we see him absorb his first being, which looks like a gnome. He acquires his own cape, although it's different than the original red one we all know him to have. This cape has a spiked up collar and gives some very much Dracula vampire aesthetics. Speaking of the Dracula aesthetic, this may be what this storyline and plot point was based off of. The Dracula storyline is about how he tried to turn his loved one into a vampire so she can live forever with him. A little bit similar to what Doctor Strange is trying to do now. Although Christine is already dead, he is trying to bring her back to life so she and himself can live on in happiness together forever. Also, Dracula, being a vampire, sucks the blood out of people, and by doing so, essentially, he is able to actually have control over these beings. And we see Doctor Strange absorbing or sucking these beings into himself, and therefore also being able to have control over their appearance and abilities. Doctor Strange is Dracula, there's no question. And here we see the Watcher actually breaks out of his watchfulness and gives a quick anecdote to us, the audience.
He's on the wrong path. I could warn him, intervene. But the fate of his universe is not worth risking the safety of all others.
We also see that Doctor Strange is somewhat able to sense the Watcher's presence and maybe even hear him.
He'd listen.
Hello? Who's that?
Sort of like a whisper on the breeze. Also, I love how they're just slowly preparing us to deal with Multiverse of Madness with like the whole freaky factor. Because this episode was freaky. And so either time works differently in the library, or Doctor Strange was absorbing beings for like 60 plus years. The guardian of the library has aged significantly. He has white hair and is on death's door. Also, Stephen Strange should not be hungry for like 100 plus years at least. This scene also goes to show the difference between the guardian of the library and Doctor Strange. This Doctor Strange wants all the power, and yes, it is to save the one he loves, but I think it shows how the guardian of the library, who, to all we know, has not really experienced much except guarding the library, but it shows how he understands life and the cycle of life much better than the Sorcerer Supreme.
Even in our world, death is part of the plan.
But this is also the half of Doctor Strange that has most of his arrogance, so that's kind of expected. Not only does Doctor Strange understand and respect life less than he should, but his arrogance also leads him to believe that he is above consequence and can fix every little thing that doesn't go his way. And as Doctor Strange is falling or being pulled by the other Doctor Strange, we see this tunnel of multicolored lights. We also see this in the No Way Home trailer when Peter's reality gets disrupted by Doctor Strange and the spell gone wrong. We also see this in the first Doctor Strange movie. Perhaps these lights are indicators of the universe or the timeline being broken. And here we can actually see what obsessive love is really like.
Knew her. We loved her.
I spent centuries, sacrificed everything for Christine.
Like in the Harry Potter franchise, the love between Snape and Lily is classified as an obsessive kind of love, which is also why those two never would have worked out, as a possessive love is not true love. And you can turn the volume up for the people in the back. Doctor Strange's infatuation with Christine may have started out simple enough, but over time grew into his obsession with being able to fix the problem of her death, as well as his feelings for her becoming warped over the centuries. I mean, real love is learning to let your loved ones go, no matter how hard that may be for you. Also, I just want to say, I feel like we haven't ever actually seen Doctor Strange's full ability in all the things he could and can do until this episode. Because as much as I enjoy Doctor Strange's character, I never really classified him as being one of the most powerful Avengers. But now, knowing all the things he can and could possibly do, like my last episode analysis, just like Ant-Man, if Doctor Strange became the villain, I think he would give the other Avengers a run for their money. Also at this point, I know good Doctor Strange is pretty much like beaten up at this point, but I wonder if a small part of him actually wanted the other Doctor Strange to win. Like, I know he's probably exhausted, but it does seem a little bit like he kind of gave up, or maybe in his mind, the only way for it to stop was for this reality to end. I also like that by this happening, it sort of shows that good doesn't always win. And eventually, as the episode ends, it's kind of like you're just dessert. Good doesn't win, and when evil wins, your world ends, basically. But just a fun thing to see, and a difference. And we see that all the power Doctor Strange possesses actually looks like it corrupts the Time Stone, which is an Infinity Stone, something that I did not know was possible. So not only would Doctor Strange be a super powerful, amazing, awesome villain, but if he gains enough power, he could change Infinity Stones. And the Watcher breaks his silence to the beings that live in the other reality, something he said he was never going to do.
Fix this!
The same way you fixed Christine.
And something I theorized in my first What If episode analysis, that by the end of the series, the Watcher actually would interfere. So maybe this is like step one in that direction. Also, we actually get to see what the Watcher really looks like. He's not some celestial body. He actually resembles the Watchers we see in the mid/end credit scene of Guardians of the Galaxy. Large, bald heads, sort of flesh-colored skin, and long bluish-purple robes. And here at the end of the episode, we see that Doctor Strange, who worked so hard to save the one he loved and live together with her forever, still lost her as well as everything else, and now remains by himself, trapped in a destroyed reality forever. And what I believe to be a lesson is that no matter how many good reasons you may have, sometimes your choices can have the utmost unforeseen consequences. And to basically be careful what you wish for, because sometimes your wish doesn't pan out as you wanted it to.
One life, one choice, one moment can destroy the entire universe.
And to be honest, this is probably the saddest episode of What If so far. And definitely, I think, leaves the audience with a lot to think about. But overall, I actually give this episode a 9 out of 10, I believe, making it tied with my rating for episode 1 with Captain Carter. Well guys, that was my breakdown/analysis for the 4th episode of What If. Leave a like on this video. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this episode. Did it make you super sad? Did you like seeing the Doctor Strange versus Doctor Strange fight? Also, which I feel like might be a hint to a future Doctor Strange and Wanda Maximoff fight? Maybe? We'll just have to wait like 2 years to see. Or maybe 1 year. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait a while. And don't forget to subscribe to the channels and click the notification bell so you don't miss future reaction and analysis videos. Well guys, that's all I got for you today. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.